Hey guys, Came for 15. Join my Uncle Daryl back with another Chicago Bears game recap. Where the Bears lose to the Green Bay Packers again. Hopefully for my sanity, which I don't think it's gonna be the case. It's Aaron Rodgers' last freaking year playing the Bears, but whatever. The moral of the story is this: it was another winnable game for the Bears, but it was simple. The first half looked like a team that was wanting to win, be explosive, go out there and actually take it to the Packers. And then the second half comes along, and then pretty much you get conservative play calling. Fields pretty much gave the team a chance to win, and then Getsy just took the ball out of his hands, did very conservative play callings, which pretty much told the fan base where the Bears lie at, and that is they value the second round overall pick over getting a measly win against their rivals, even if it's in, again, another heartbreaking way and another way where it can piss off some Bear fans. But they value that second round pick, whether they trade back or they just take, I guess they were enamored with what they saw with Jalen Carter.
Pick. You said second round pick,
Oh yeah,
overall pick.
Yeah, second overall pick. Whether they trade back with it, or I guess if they watched the Jalen Carter performance yesterday against LSU, don't know. My whole standpoint, I understand. Yeah, they would have probably dropped. I think I saw like they would have dropped to either seventh or eighth overall pick. But in some cases, I can understand. Other like see, that's kind of the hard part now. Half of me understands why they did what they did, while another half of me is like, just go out there and win the freaking game. Just beat these guys. If it's Aaron Rodgers' last game with the Packers against Chicago, send him off freaking losing this game. But the Bears, again, it wouldn't behoove me. Again, I don't know what goes on in the building. It wouldn't behoove me if freaking Poles was on the sideline the entire game, goes in the locker room when halftime starts, has a meeting with the coach and say, cool, you had your little victory win in the first half. Now do the job and freaking make sure we maintain the second pick. Also, too, the moment when I saw Cairo Santos miss that extra point again, this is the second time he's done that. I knew it would come back to bite the Bears in the ass. And more than like, and guess what happened? That came back to bite them in the butt again, which now that means maybe Ryan Poles starts to reevaluate Cairo Santos. And I know he's been a really loyal kicker, but hey, he's arguably lost us 2 games because he can't make an extra point off a very big touchdown play. Simple as that.
I mean, if you really think about it like this, if Poles want to keep that second pick and Cairo Santos is missing kicks, then there's your reason right there to keep him around.
There you go. Yeah. This we made a mention of it yesterday in the or last week in the Jets game that it's pretty much the tank is on. And this game pretty much null and void sealed it because they saw too going into a bye week. There might be a chance they actually might drop in the draft rankings because other teams are playing. They won't, but it is what it is. Half of me is disappointed in the fact that we lost this game because I was just like, at some point, I was like, you know what, screw it. If we drop, we drop. Just go out there, go win the football game, and at least send the fans who attended the game home happy. The one thing I also did see is this offense clearly is a lot better with Justin Fields at the helm. Again, it's another game. Honestly, I'd say this was his best game of the season. Yeah, we didn't average the same amount of points per game, but that's, again, blame that to the freaking play calling, conservative play calling. Listen, Justin Fields looked great. Again, he further shows me that this is the dude. He is the guy. And just from this performance alone, I know, guess what? We're going to be dominating Green Bay for years because we have the guy, and they're going to be over there figuring out what they want to do with their quarterback situation. But those are my initial takes. I thought the defense played good in the first half, and then it kind of let up in the second half, especially when Green Bay was making their run. Props to the rookie DBs in that first half and a little bit in the second half. Honestly, they look better than Gordon and freaking Kendall Vildor. And honestly, I'm starting to like this Justin Jones guy. He's actually impressing me with the reps I've been seeing him get.
Yeah, I like Justin Jones as well too. Now, yeah, this was a tale of two halves in which They really did, the usual same old stuff, put Justin Fields on the move so that he can be able to move the football and keep the defense off balance for whatever reason. And we could just, assume that the tank is on, but they didn't call any of those type plays in the second half. For the most part, it was Justin in the pocket. Justin in the pocket. Justin in the pocket, my
And
left.
he was fine.
Yeah, there was a crucial third down play, 3rd and 5, and they run a dive up the middle with Montgomery.
That was after that was on the drive. N'Keal Harry had the big play, right?
I think that might have been the drive before.
Okay.
But I'm just like, why? You've been having success spreading this team out. Just, I don't know. Getsy for me has just been his calls in the second half were a head scratcher. He called a wide receiver screen
multiple times to start off that second half.
Multiple times. This particular screen, well, I believe, was on 3rd and 5 as well. And he called Pettis in motion, leaving, I believe, Claypool and Harry on the.
No, it was Equanimous St. Brown.
That was in motion, or
I could have sworn Pettis in the motion. Brown was there to be the blocker for Claypool.
Right. But for whatever reason, he called that play, and the DE stayed back in coverage. They had 2 cornerbacks already over there, and they also had a safety over there. So basically, you had 4 defenders against 2 wide receivers. The play was doomed from the start, but he called it anyway. I'm like, why? Why? There was just no point to it whatsoever, other than to kill the drive. Yeah. It just, for me, that's just what it looked like. It just looked like the Bears just decided to just go ahead and tank the second half. The best weapon that you had, they turned him into a drop back passer. And it just
he looked fine. He looked fine.
He looked fine. He looked fine. The wide receiver core did look fine as well, too. But it was just that dichotomy of plays that you had called in the first half and the plays that you called in the second half. They were just totally different. For me, it was, and again, I probably would not feel this bad if it was against, Detroit or Minnesota, but it's Green Bay, man. It's Green Bay, man. I think when you play your rival, man, all of that crap should just go out the window, and you beat your rival. No matter what you do, you beat your rival. And we had a fantastic first half, and it went from sugar to sugar honey iced tea. And there was no, it was.
You can watch the game and actively see the Bears are trying to lose this game.
I don't even have a retort to that, other than to agree with you. There's no retort to it. Now, to look for some positives out of this, Justin Fields looked great again, passing the football. I think he over 250
yards. Over 200 yards. First game of the season, over 200 yards. So I guess to the people who were crying like he's not getting over 200 yards, he can do it. The problem is the play calling can be absolute dog crap that inhibits him from getting there.
Correct. They had, from my vantage point of, I think maybe 4 of his receptions were for losses because of those wide receiver screens.
Yep.
I really just, as a fan, man, I really would think that they would come with a better effort against Green Bay. I think
they did in the first half. They clearly were ready.
The first half, they played great. Justin Jones, the rookie, I believe he was out of Ole Miss. He played fantastic football. And there was this one PI that he looked like a rookie. When a wide receiver turns his head around, you're supposed to turn your head around. He didn't. And, I get it, but, that's a rookie mistake. And for most of the game, he held his own.
Yeah.
With
I just think that they got word from the management, from Poles and his staff. All right, you had your little moral victory. We don't care anymore. Make sure we maintain that second pick.
Maintain
Because
that
right now,
second.
they just value that a lot right now. They value that a lot right now.
Because if you really think about it, and then we got 4 more games.
Yeah. And then you're
Four
going
more.
into a bye. So if you win this game, they're probably looking at it too. They're going to a bye next week. If they were to say win this game, they go to 4-9. They drop down to, I believe they said either 7 or 8 in the draft. With a bye, you have no game, so you can't have no impact on who wins, who loses. If the bad teams lose, well, then that just pushes you back up. It pushes you farther away from the closer the pick. And
Well, I got to admit, in one case, Cleveland did win. I mean, they won their 5th game of the year.
Yeah.
So that does help a little bit. But I mean, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I know.
It's Green Bay, man.
Yeah.
It's Green Bay. It's just like, I don't have a problem going 2-15, man. If we beat Green Bay, them 2 wins, I'm good. It's Green Bay, man. That's all I can say is, these are the games in which I think all conventional wisdom should just go out the window. Yeah, we got a number 2 pick currently, but it's just so now basically what you want to do is lose the next 4.
Pretty much. That's their plan.
Lose the next 4. So if you want to lose the next 4, just go ahead, lose the next 4. But see, what they can't do is put on the illusion that they're tanking. They got to play the players if they're healthy. Like if Justin Fields is healthy and ready to go, they got a plan. Because if I'm correct, there is a rule against tanking. If you got a healthy quarterback and he's number 1 on your depth chart, then you can't just sit him just because, well, we want to lose.
Well, the Rams doing that right now.
Well, I mean,
all Stafford had is a concussion.
Well, they said he had a neck injury. That's what they put down on the injury report. They say he has a neck injury.
I think they just put him on IR because they know their season's a wrap. So
I would have thought the Bears would have did the same with Fields with his shoulder. But see, now they can't use that excuse anymore. They got to go ahead and play the kid now.
Yeah, and he's getting reps and he looks good. I definitely do think him sitting in that Jets game definitely helped out this week. There was times in this game, I felt like he got the ball out pretty quick. He was definitely they definitely had some more check down routes, like more out routes and everything, just to bail him out of some things. I would still like him to get a little bit more faster on the getting the checkdowns out to the running backs a little bit faster. But other than that, he played a solid game. The highlight plays were definitely his 56-yard run, the 2 passes on Jair Alexander, even though he got the last lap on Fields, which I think it was more on Equineme and St. Brown more than Fields, because Fields just threw an anticipatory throw. He anticipated a throw.
He cut out of his break a little bit late, and then on top of that, he didn't take the 2 or 3 steps forward to come meet the football. And he also didn't keep Jair Alexander from coming in front of him as well too. So he was definitely late in every phase of that route. Justin Fields threw the ball perfectly. It's just Equineme and St. Brown just got out of his break late.
Yeah. And then one more thing, the one thing with Darnell Mooney being out, I did see Fields pass it a lot more to other receivers. He did pass it a few times to Claypool. Claypool should be fine. He looked like he came down with a little knee injury, but he got back in there in the second half and he started playing.
Yeah, so he came back. Personally, I didn't even think that was a fumble. The replay
showed. I didn't think that was a fumble either.
Yeah,
I thought that was another game-changing play right there.
Yeah, the replay showed for me that the ground caused that fumble because he had the ball with one hand as it was coming down, and it clearly hit the ground. Yeah. So I didn't think it was a fumble, but obviously somebody upstairs thought so.
Yeah. Honestly, I was actually surprisingly shocked that the refs were actually not that overly biased to the Packers for once.
I
And
gotta
again,
admit, I have a problem with the play calling either. I just think, it's everything to what we talked about. The Bears play call in the second half just
yeah.
didn't.
Montgomery and Darrington Evans, they looked really good in this game. In my opinion, they ran the ball fine.
They did.
Receivers, they looked fine. Cole
Offensive
Kmet,
line play bad.
yeah.
They didn't
Offensive line
play.
didn't play really that bad,
The
honestly.
D line was horrible. They couldn't get
Yeah,
anywhere near practice.
yeah.
The linebackers, as always, was very good. Was really good. Sanborn and Morrow played really good active football. Um,
No, Sanborn was great. I thought Moore was
well, I'm just saying they didn't play bad as a unit. Sanborn is man.
Oh yeah,
We got to keep that dude.
oh yeah.
We got that dude is. I'm not gonna say he's special, but that dude is.
Yeah, on
Yeah. I
that
like.
one first drive, he made a really big tackle on that screen pass to I forgot what play. I think it was to Aaron Jones or something like that, and he made a
It was
good
one of their
tackle
running
on.
backs. I don't remember which one, but yeah. And he was actively hitting Dylan throughout the
Yeah,
entire game. Dylan had a great game, but it seemed like to me that Green Bay made the concerted effort to run him away from Sanborn.
yeah.
So, so like I said, the linebackers played well. The secondary didn't do bad. They
They
really
didn't
didn't
do
do.
bad with the guys that were out.
Yeah, they didn't. They really didn't do bad. I mean, I thought that Rogers tried to force a few passes to Christian Watson, but they did a little bit more to innovatively get him the football in the second half. But other than that, man, Jones played really good football as a DB. So
Yeah,
the defense, for me, it was just a play calling altogether by Getsy.
yeah.
That's what it,
The
just a
defensive line, they didn't
oh,
really
the
get any.
defensive line was horrible.
Yeah, there was times Aaron Rodgers had all day in the freaking pocket. I'm
Oh no,
like, dude, at least make some conservative effort to get off the
they didn't
blocks. Like,
even do anything to keep him in the pocket when they rushed.
yeah,
Every time when he made a step left or right, the only reason why he did that is because for whatever reason the defensive end did some kind of stunt to push him out of the pocket, and they couldn't get anywhere near him throughout the entire game. So
yep,
the defensive line for me was just flat out horrible. Offensive line was good. The running backs were good. Fields was good. Linebackers were good. Secondary was good. It was just, I
yeah,
mean, how long can you cover wide
yeah,
receivers when the defensive line is giving the quarterback 5-6 seconds to throw the football?
yeah. But Poles definitely is gonna have to improve in the trenches. Again, I still think there's some moves they could make on the offensive line, and then there's definitely moves they need to make on the defensive line. Again, um, we'll see what they do in the offseason.
Yeah. Biggest weakness
Bayless
is the line.
Jones,
Yeah, the
yeah,
biggest weakness is the line. I
yeah,
mean, the defensive and offensive line. To me, that's the biggest weakness. Coming into this year, we would have said the offensive line and maybe the secondary, but I mean, but the defensive line, offensive line, you got to be able to win at the line of scrimmage. And again, the Bears didn't do that today. You were
yeah.
about to say something about Velus Jones?
Yeah, Bayless Jones, he looked fine on the kickoff returns.
Thinking
I didn't
about
like the
Tom?
fact they had him have one offense play running as a running back, which shows
Yeah, I
me
saw
like,
that.
what are we
Yeah, I saw
doing
that.
with this guy? So
I
yeah.
mean,
Oh, and then there was
could be an
actually,
audition. It could be an audition to see if we want to
yeah,
keep the guy around. But I got to admit, there was one kick where I thought he was about to break it,
the one at
and
the end of the game.
broke outside when I thought he should have broke inside, and he might have been able to do something.
Yeah,
But I think again, he's a rookie, and I think he has value if we use him as that specialist. So let's just
yeah. Um, Special teams was all right, but Cairo Santos also is the one that kind of let the team down somewhat again.
yeah.
Again, I'm not saying that they're gonna go out in the market and get a kid because again, kicker because Cairo Santos has been pretty good for them. But again, this is like two games this year where he missed a crucial extra point, which
Extra point. Now,
had
granted,
a
field goal block. Um, That
I just blame that more on Getsy's stupid play calling, which
yeah,
led to the field goal block.
correct. I don't blame Cairo Santos at all for that. But that extra point, yeah, that was all him.
Yeah. Again,
And
like I made mention earlier in this,
you texted me too, and you said that was gonna come back to bite us, and I
even
didn't want to
tweeted,
hear.
I made a tweet about that. It would come back to bite. And when it happened, I was like, what did I say?
And then they
Um,
wound up going up 2019 when if he had hit the extra point, it would have been
would have been a tie
2020.
game.
And who knows where the game would have went.
Yep. Again, I'm not saying it's like they're gonna cut Cairo Santos next year, but I definitely could see where Ryan Poles is starting to look and be like, okay, Cairo, 2 games the year where you potentially cost us a chance to win a game. Two against division rivals, mind you, and
Maybe.
you missed a crucial extra point after a pretty inspiring touchdown that just happened and gave us momentum.
But
Um,
given your
yeah,
tank theory, if he had hit those 2 kicks and we're what, at 5 wins instead of 3,
true.
we
But
are
if they have 5 wins, maybe they
nowhere near the second pick.
yeah, and maybe they play call different. Don't know.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. Other than that, there was really one bad play call in the first half, and that was that weird end around reverse thing where they had Equinemius tried to throw the ball. They called that after a timeout, and I'm like, why would you call a timeout? Which made sense of like,
Just to
okay,
run
now
that
why they
play.
call a timeout? Because they didn't know what they were doing. I'm like, don't do these cute play calls. And there was another play call where Darrington Evans, he had the big run. It was another one of those failed stupid conservative things in the second half. Darrington Evans had the big run, and then I see Wildcat formation with Darrington Evans and Montgomery in the backfield. I'm like, where's Fields? That's a weapon you can use. Like play calls like that shows me
And he
like, no,
only
you
got a
guys are
field goal out of it. And he only got a field goal out. Darrington Evans ran for that first down on what was it, 3rd and 8, and they did that stunt up the middle.
yeah.
And it was a read option in which they gave it to Darrington up the middle. And he ran for and here it is. I'm like, okay, great. I want to say they were at the 12-yard line. Okay, we have 4 downs to get 12 yards. Get a field
First
goal out
play.
of it.
That was that Wildcat.
Yeah, Wildcat. I'm like, come on, man. You can't be tipping the play like you. They know you running if you going Wildcat. Spread them out 5 wide right there on first down, and let's see what you get. But
And even if that case, just put Justin Fields in the backfield with those 2 running backs. He could hand it off to one of those guys, or he could take it himself.
mm-hmm.
Again, like I
But when you
said,
don't have when you don't have a person in the backfield who can throw the football, the threat of the play action is nullified.
yep. Again, next year,
And
I think
Green
next
Bay
year's
knew it, so they went to cover 0.
yep. Listen, next year's team I expect to be better because they're gonna have better talent there. But I'll say this going to next year. Getsy's giving me these BS play calls that reeks of Matt Nagy BS. Then that's when I'm really gonna have an issue. I'm letting it slide now because it's freaking this season's
Tank
done
time.
practically. Yeah.
Tank time.
And when you look at the rest of the remaining schedule, after the bye, you play the Eagles. I believe it's in Chicago. And then you play the Bills in Chicago. Then you go to Detroit. And then you have the final game at home against the Minnesota Vikings.
So basically, in a nutshell, potential they're playing what?
They're playing
3
3 teams that are going to go to the playoffs.
3 teams that are potential Super Bowl
Two potential
participants.
no, actually all 3. Yeah, all 3 are potential Super Bowl contenders.
Exactly. 3 of them are potential Super Bowl participants, and the Lions, who put up a 30 spot on Jacksonville today.
Yep, potentially if they could try to find their way into the wild card. Don't know.
So just if
yep. At this point, it's get Justin Fields healthy through this season. He still looks good. Again, he's definitely turning into the guy that we're starting to know, okay, this is that dude. You just got to put the ball in his hands and have him do his magic, pretty much.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So. I have nothing else to say about this game, to be honest. It's just, well, the tank is still on, and we won't be back next week because there's a bye week. So That's
I
pretty
got
much
it.
it.
And again, Green Bay, man. I just now I get it. I understand. I have, I've coached teams. I've even, now granted it's just high school level, but I've coached teams, and I even served as, a form of a general manager to a head coach. So, to do things to make him a little bit more easy with everything he has to do on the floor, recruit players, get them processed, things of that nature. So I get it. I get it. I understand. But I mean, I'm like, man, well, when you got your hated rival in front of you, I just think all bets are off. And you got to make sure that you do whatever you got to do to get a W. And that
And
first
you're
half,
up. You're up, and you have a chance to just pretty much end it right then and there.
and that first half was indicative of that. We were up 10-0.
Oh yeah, yeah.
10-0.
I think if this
Another
team
first
was
drive, we get points on it. And here it is. We have more scores on the very first drive of the game than any team in the NFL. Now,
yeah.
but
I think if this
we
team
only
was
got what? And we only got 3 wins to show for it.
yep. I think if this team was a team contending for a wild card spot or a playoff spot or like a division win or leader win, then they go all out and they win this game. They honestly, if we're being honest, the Bears would have blown out the Packers. They would have scored 30 or 35, almost 40 points, and they would have blown out the Packers. Because let's be honest, they kind of made Aaron Rodgers in this game pretty pedestrian.
Yeah.
He didn't really do
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
Really, the run game, AJ Dillon pretty much took over the game for them. And then Christian Watson's plays took over the game for them.
Yeah. Now, if the second pick is what you truly want, then, man, Jalen Carter.
Yeah. What he did yesterday, it says enough. He could be
Jalen
another
Carter.
replica Aaron Donald like player.
Jalen Carter, man. I love Will Anderson, but he ain't Jalen Carter. I mean, Jalen Carter is dominant. He can play the ends. He can play the tackle. I mean, he can obviously, inside, outside. He can even be pushed out in coverage a little bit. I mean, he's a Swiss Army knife at the defensive line position. And looking at the way the defensive line played today, yeah, man, we need bodies at that position. And yeah, if we're gonna tank, if we're gonna tank and get Jalen Carter out the deal, I'm all for it.
Yeah. And he's gonna get at least one more game, potentially 2 more games left in the season.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It's gonna be interesting to see what he does against Ohio State in January. So other than that,
Georgia's gonna win it all. None of
oh yeah,
these three teams are even in their class. I mean, TCU, lost their championship game and they didn't drop at all in the stand. That tells me the committee already had their mind made up that TCU was going to be in regardless. Regardless. And they had to have at least 3 conferences represented in that top 4. There was no way they were going to let's just say, I'm an Alabama fan. You know that. There was no way they're going to have 2 SEC teams and 2 Big Ten teams in that top 4, even though Michigan, Georgia, Ohio State, and Alabama were the 4 best teams in the country. They didn't want Georgia playing Alabama, and they didn't want Michigan playing Ohio State again.
It would have been interesting football weekend though that week.
Yeah, for those 4 fan bases, everyone else would have crapped their pants, But Michigan and I've seen TCU in about 4 games this year, and they do the same crap. They struggle, and then they quarterback damn near kills himself to get a W. Trust me, you ain't doing that against Michigan.
Hey, at
So
least Quentin. Maybe the Bears could take Quentin Johnson, wide receiver out of TCU, with the second pick, with their second overall,
maybe with second. Well,
with their
do we
second
have a
round pick,
second pick?
their second round pick. They
I
have the
thought we
second round
traded
pick.
that pick.
They
We had two
traded
second,
their second round pick, but they still have the Steelers second round pick.
still second round pick.
Oh
Okay.
no, the Ravens second round pick.
The Ravens second round pick. That's right.
And they
So
lost, and the Ravens lost to the freaking Broncos.
Broncos won that game?
I think they did.
No.
I think they did.
They were up 10-9 with like
Oh, no, the Ravens came back and beat the Broncos. Never mind.
10-9, right?
Yeah, 10-9. Last
Okay,
last
I
time
was about to say, because I was watching that game too. Because I was like, wait a minute here. They were up 10-9 late. And Lamar Jackson's backup came in because Lamar hurt that quad again in the first quarter, I think it was. Maybe second. But
Hey,
again.
they made their second round pick. They take Quentin Johnson. He looked really good.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Georgia versus
Isn't Bowers coming out?
Blake Bowers. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't they designate him as a tight end? I feel like he's more receiver.
No, tight end.
Hey, maybe they draft Blake Bowers with their second
overall pick.
No, not their second round pick. Second round pick.
Well, you got Kyle. Cole Kmet. I like Cole Kmet.
I like Cole, but I think Bowers would be a nice
I'm not having
backup.
a problem with him right now. He had a great game today too. Yeah.
But you can match up Bowers out and the whiteout too. He could be like a Jimmy Graham like player.
If we win at the line of scrimmage, the wide receiver core, as currently constructed, is good enough to win football games.
True.
Look at what
I still think some guys need to go.
That's true. Don't get me wrong. I agree with you. But if you win at the line of scrimmage, that is the key to winning football.
Yeah. Oh, there's one more. Well, there's one more thing. Even though he only had one reception, N'Keal Harry that one catch did look good. Yes. I thought seeing that alone, maybe he should have played the last 4 weeks.
Well, I like him and Claypool at the same time. Primarily, they're big guys. Let Mooney run the slot, and then that way you can have the little itty bitty quick, fast, and hurry Mooney against slower DBs and linebackers and safeties.
Yeah.
Whereas Harry and Claypool, you get those bigger guys out on the edges, and cornerbacks has a little, they have to be a little stronger to be able to deal with those two guys. But if the number 2 pick, again, if the number 2 pick is what we want, then my hope is that they get Jalen Carter to come with it.
It could be the redemption for missing out on Aaron Donald all those years back.
Could have been. Could have been.
All right, we're gonna get over, guys.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Now I was about to say, and Donald went what? 10th? He was in that 10 to 15 range when he was drafted.
Yeah.
But if we can get Carter, that'd be great. So if we're gonna tank and walk out of there with that number 2.
Unless they trade back and then the team they're trading back with wants to take a quarterback. And you still put yourself in position to still line yourself up with Carter.
Maybe depends on
who for example, Lions are still.
No, I was going to say it depends on who have the other, and also Carter would have to perform a certain fashion at the pre-draft camps as well too, in order to stay number 2. Yep. So a lot has to go into play. If Carter's the player that we want, a lot still has to play out.
Unless the Texans just go crazy and Lovie Smith's like, no, we got to get that guy instead of a quarterback.
Man, there's no way.
I feel like that would be so Lovie Smith to do that.
Ain't no way in hell they're going to sit up here and pass on C.J. Stroud or Bryce Young. No. When you got a potential franchise quarterback, doggone well you got to go get him. I don't even want to hear, maybe we can wait until the second round and Bryce Young will be there because he's short. Okay.
I'm only throwing that because Lovie Smith's a defensive guy. I could definitely see him say, but I want this guy. And somehow the GM is stupid enough to actually do that.
And Houston's going to fire him next year.
Yep. All right, guys, we're going to go over. We said all we can say about this game, but we'll be back next week. Well, we won't be back next week to talk any Bears. We'll be back next week to give a whole recap of the entire NFL. That is the thing. But in 2 weeks, we'll be back talking Bears versus Eagles. So yeah, they dominate the Titans, and I
Two
think it's
weeks
gonna be.
we're gonna be talking about the Eagles.
Oh yeah. Hey, as long as Justin Fields look good, right?
I got him in my fantasy league, so
How did he do in fantasy?
he did really well. He got
Even though he had the 2 picks.
22 points
Oh, with the 2 picks.
with the 2 picks.
Crazy. All right, guys, we're gonna get out of here. Catch you guys in the next video. See you then, guys. Peace.